The UK's most notorious prisoners, Levi Bellfield, is making headlines again. And the headlines are serial killer inmate Levi Bellfield given weekly fry-ups and video game time. Now I'm going to do a breakdown about what he's actually getting for these fry-ups and whether or not it's him and him alone getting special treatment and getting fry-ups inside of prison. Now, everybody will be familiar with this absolute beast of a man. He is the only man to be given 2 whole life sentences, which means he will never be released from prison. Now, there has been 100 people given life without parole. But like I just said, he is the only man in UK history to be given 2 whole life sentences. And that second whole life sentence he received was for the murder of 13-year-old Milly Dowler. So the 57-year-old was jailed in 2011 for murdering 13-year-old Milly Dowler, 19-year-old Marsha McDonnell, and 22-year-old Amelie Delagrange between 2002 and 2003. He was also convicted of the attempted murder of Kate Sheedy in 2004. And he is residing inside of Frankland prison, which has become known in the local press as Monster Mansion. And yes, before you jump on it in the comments, Wakefield Prison is the original Monster Mansion, because Wakefield Prison is a predominantly bacon prison. Now, bacon equals nonce. Nonce is slang term in prison. Bacon is a slang term in prison for that, because bacon bonds rhymes with nonce. And he is residing in Frankland prison, like I've just said, but bacon, predominantly a bacon prison, Wakefield, because just about every single wing inside of that prison is for the beasts. And that's why it's always been known as Monster Mansion, because the type of prisoners that are in there are absolute monsters. Now, all the high-profile monsters like Levi Bellfield, Wayne Couzens, Ian Huntley, all these type of high-profile inmates are all housed inside of Frankland prison. You have the morgue monster, David Fuller. You have the grinder killer, can't remember his name. There's loads of high-profile inmates like this, and the most high-profile of them all, like Bellfield, Huntley, Couzens, even the Yorkshire Ripper, who died while serving time in there, they were all housed together on A Wing inside of Frankland prison. So imagine that. All of these beasties wronging us together, and he's making headlines because he's getting special privileges and he's getting a weekly fry-up. Now, just about every prisoner in England, I'm not sure about the other countries like Wales and Scotland, Northern Ireland, but I do know in England, Fridays is normally a fry-up day. It used to be on a morning years ago, but now they don't even unlock your doors for breakfast. You get your breakfast pack on an afternoon for the next morning. And you normally get the fry-up on a dinner time. Because like I've just said, you used to get opened up for breakfast in prisons at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8, half 8, you'd go down for your breakfast. And this is when you would have, obviously, the fry-ups inside a prison. Now, Levi Bellfield will not be eating bacon, by the way, people, because he converted to Islam. He is now a Muslim. And he goes by the name, I did have it up here somewhere, he goes by the name of Yusuf. See if I can find the second name, 2 seconds, people. Can't find it, but he goes now by there. Yusuf Rahim. Yusuf Rahim, the most hated and most despised prisoner in the system. Like I said, he'll not be eating bacon with his fry-up. And if he is, then he's committing a sin, because they're not supposed to eat bacon. But getting back to the moral of the story, it's saying that he's having a luxury fry-up. Every prisoner gets the fry-ups. They get them on a dinner time on a Saturday, round about 12 p.m. And they are nothing special. They were that bad, I didn't even eat them myself. You used to get the scrambled egg, but the scrambled egg isn't what you would get out here when you have proper scrambled egg whisked up. I think this stuff is like powder that's made. You can imagine they've got to serve hundreds of prisoners, so it's just made up in massive big pots. It was watery, it was like slop, it was absolutely disgusting. And the fried bread, you get the big fryers inside the kitchens in the prisons that they cook all the fried food in. So at the end of the week, when they do the fried bread, they just open the loaves of bread, chuck them in the big deep fat fryers, what they've been cooking, the chips and all sorts in. And this is what you get your fried bread. It is stale, hard, horrible, greasy, horrible, disgusting. You wouldn't want to eat it, but the lads, some of them, are fucking begging for more. They're on their hands and knees with a bit of bean juice on top because they love it. But like I say, some people in prison have had nothing on the streets. They get in, they're getting fed all the time. They're getting these type of fry-ups. They love it. But like I said, they were that bad, I didn't eat it. The bacon was shite. The sausages weren't too bad. But the Muslims aren't queuing up for fry-ups, so don't know why they've got this in the headlines for this absolute despicable vermin. I can't go into too much about what I think of them because certain words will flag up. And then it goes on to say, and video game time. So it does say he is now an enhanced prisoner, so he gets special privileges. So you work your way up inside a prison. When you first go in, you're on standard. Everybody who gets in the prison system is on standard. Then, depending on your behaviour, if you don't conform with the system and you disrupt the system, you'll get put on basic, where you get hardly out. You only get out your pad every few days for a shower. You still get your exercise, but basic regime is exactly what it says. You've got nothing in your pad. It's absolute basic. But if you keep your head down, do your time, don't cause a nuisance like this horrible man isn't causing a nuisance inside of prison. He's actually a screw boy up the screw's arses, so to speak. He's running around the wing, up the screw's arses, grassing on all the other prisoners. I know this because of a source from inside the establishment has been in touch and told us a few stories about these prisoners and who's on which wings. Hence the reason why I know they're all on A wing together, and hence the reason why I'd done a video not so long back about Ian Huntley and Levi Bellfield being bum chums. So this wronging is on enhanced because, like I've just said, because of the way he's conducting himself inside a prison. So when he's on enhanced, he's allowed extra money to spend out of his private cash, and he'll have bought himself an Xbox or a PlayStation, but it is the old Xbox and the old PlayStations. Obviously, you're not allowed the up-to-date ones. It'll be like the PlayStation 2, I think, or PlayStation 3. Can't remember exactly. I believe it's a PlayStation 2, but either way, prisoners are allowed to buy these out of either the private cash or saving up their spends on the canteen instead of buying your luxury goods, i.e. food, vapes, whatever. Prisoners save it up and don't spend it on anything. Then they buy themselves something like this to occupy the time inside of prison. But some prisons as well do have, in the association rooms, they'll have a computer, so when you're on association, you can go and sit in there and play on it with another prisoner, a two-player game. So that is obviously what he's doing, and that's why, obviously, these stories are getting leaked, going to the press, and obviously getting in touch with the likes of myself, and that's why these stories are coming out. But it's not that he's getting any special treatment. It's just the fact that obviously people who are having to work with him, certain screws, aren't liking this. This is a horrible, horrible man. He shouldn't be getting anything. He should be kept in a dungeon, fed on bread and water, and left to rot for what he done. These type of monsters don't deserve these privileges, and that's why it's in the headlines. Obviously, it'll not be on the mainstream news, but it's headlines on the prison news app that I get, and it tells you the latest stories inside a prison. And obviously the source that's been the papers, maybe he's trying to get a few pennies, has also been in touch and told me a few bits. But this wrong'un did get prison justice back in 2009 when he was attacked of another prisoner in Wakefield. That is when he got moved. He got moved from Wakefield up to Frankland prison. But he was attacked of another prisoner with a makeshift weapon. I've been trying to find out who the prisoner was, but I couldn't find anything in all the articles and online. But all I found was that obviously it was in 2009 in Wakefield prison. He got attacked with a makeshift weapon, and it obviously left scarring because he was trying to sue the prison system for £30,000. And believe it or not, he actually got awarded a payout. He was awarded £4,500 when he got attacked. Can you believe that? They actually gave him. He's in a prison system full of violent murderers. He's a one himself. He's been attacked in prison, and then he's been able to sue the system, trying to get 30 grand. And he's been awarded £4,500. What an absolute insult and an injustice. That money should have been took straight off him and given to his victims' families. That should have went to Milly Dowler's parents. That wrong'un shouldn't have been allowed that money. And other prisoners that have been attacked more severely have actually been awarded substantial amounts, up to £80,000 and £90,000, which I've done videos on before, which I find absolutely ludicrous. But then I know prisoners that have been attacked in prison as well have been left with scarring, who have actually went in to try and get compensation as well. But because they were from the normal location wings, and obviously staunch fellas, they didn't grass on the person that slashed them or done them in, because obviously that's just not how it works. They didn't grass on them. They weren't prosecuted or charged. So because there was no prosecutions, that prisoner wasn't awarded any money. So why was that certain cretins awarded money, but yet the likes of someone who was on a normal location wing that was in for what you would class as a normal crime, if there is such a thing, but I'm talking about a crime that didn't involve they didn't do anything like these, the likes of Bellfield, where Huntley and all them have done. And then they didn't get awarded anything. They still got the same scarring. They still got attacked in prison. But they didn't grass, so they didn't get awarded anything. So that is special treatment of the likes of Bellfield when they're getting awarded that amount of money. But he was in the headlines for a few other things in recent years as well, when he was actually going to be marrying inside of Frankland prison. Some woman has been visiting him who was a pen pal, and obviously they fell in love and she wanted to marry him. What sort of woman would want to marry that, who has murdered all these women, probably responsible for even more? He has been investigated for more, and it is believed that he has done more. Excuse me. So why on earth would some woman want to marry that? But obviously there's been uproar about it. People weren't happy about it, how this could be happening. And the governor stopped it. It was stopped. He was not allowed to get married. But that in itself is absolutely ludicrous as well. How it was going to be going ahead until it got in the public domain and people were in uproar about it. And the governor of the prison and the system thought, we can't let this happen because it's not in the public interest. The public are going to go absolutely wild. So I just find that ludicrous that the certain woman would want to go and visit him after everything he's done. A 13-year-old girl, what he'd done to her, kidnapped and murdered her. And that woman is as sick as him. But I just thought I would bring you this story, people, because I know you love hearing these type of stories. You can just tell by the views. And obviously the videos, what I'm going to start doing a little bit longer. If you do want the longer videos where I start talking about the cases a little bit more and talking about when they have getting their prison justice, because that, as I've just said, when I look through the views on the videos, these are the videos that you love listening to the most, because people who have never been to prison are fascinated by it. People who have never been to prison, they watch channels like this, they watch prison documentaries, and they've always had a fascination with it because they think, like, I would love to know what goes on inside of there. The majority of my subscribers who haven't been to prison are exactly the same. I've actually met a few recent ones in the gym in the new area that I've just moved to. And I got talking with him and he was asking us a load of questions about the prison. He's been watching my channel, he loves it, fascinated, never been in trouble himself, but he's just fascinated by the prison side of it. And he was just asking us loads of questions. And it's the same with you lot watching this, apart from the ones that have been to prison, because there is a substantial amount of people that have been to prison that watch me channel as well. But the ones like I've just mentioned who haven't been to prison, they love hearing these type of stories. The fact that talking about an enhanced prisoner or basic or standard, talking about food, a whole range of different things what ordinary folk out here cannot comprehend or do not know nothing about. But then when you see headlines like this, giving weekly fry-ups, luxury fry-ups, and sitting playing video games in the video game room, well, obviously these headlines are just blown up to sell the stories. And then when I see these stories, and then obviously when I get contacted by email or message or whatever, asking us to do a story and telling us a little bit of info about what's going on, then I give it to you straight. Because obviously I've done time in high security prison myself. I've done several years inside of prison. And I know exactly what goes on inside of prison. And I know the regime. I know what the food's like. So I'm giving it to you straight, people. But on that note, I'm going to leave that one there for now. But if there is anything you would like us to cover, any videos for the folk that have never been to prison, drop it in the comment section. Let us know all about it. But if you do want to buy any of me merchandise, these are the Bronson t-shirts behind bars. I've even got Bacon Bashers t-shirts. So hit the link in the description or in the comment section. And I will leave that one there for now, people. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe and watch what you're doing, people. Until the next time, stay safe.